I think that the ability to prove marketing's value and become an equal partner to the organization's strategy has been some of the work that I've been most proud of. Hi, I'm Tara Giuliano. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for Nuveen. We're a $1 trillion asset manager operating in over 30 countries around the globe and spanning both private and public investment offerings. So as I say, all I've ever done in financial services marketing is all I ever want to do. But truthfully, it found me more than I found it. As a undergraduate business student, I had an opportunity to intern at Nationwide. So really started in the insurance side of the industry as an intern and ultimately got hired on full-time to work at Nationwide. And during my time there, I worked in a lot of different facets of both marketing and communication across advertising, marketing analytics, communications roles. And so that gave me a really well-rounded background across the spectrum. But ultimately, I really wanted to work in a global company. I was an international business undergrad, and Nationwide was a very domestic company at the time. So I had an opportunity to come to Chicago and be part of Allianz's insurance division, where I was helping lead the Americas efforts in a very global corporate insurance environment. So I really started in the insurance side of financial services for some time, but during my time at Allianz, I got the opportunity to work on brand projects spanning the investment management operations, so PIMCO, Allianz Global Investors, also the life insurance arm of Allianz. And that really sparked my interest in working more on the investment management side. And I went to Morningstar after Allianz, where I got to partner with asset managers to help bring investment products to life, but really through selling data, indexes, investment research, and really have been in the investment management side of it and done at both UBS and here at Nuveen. We really look at all different aspects of the customer life cycle or the funnel. And of course, we get measured on top of the funnel, meaning pure awareness and consideration and favorability. So what do our prospects really think about our brand? And that's a pure marketing measure. We also at Nuveen are responsible for shared responsibility of the client experience metric. So how satisfied are our customers and how likely are they to recommend? But sort of sitting in the middle of that, right, is a lot of the bread and butter marketing work, direct marketing work, targeted marketing work that we're doing to help bring business into the firm and or upsell, cross-sell existing clientele. And it is tricky because we don't, as I would say, we don't sell t-shirts on the internet. We don't at Nuveen even market directly to end investors. That's not part of what our shop does. So we're really considering the financial advisor our main customer and or the institutional investors. And so with that in mind, pure marketing ROI is very tricky because there's always a sales or distribution partner within Nuveen that's helping us close business. And so what we do is we define marketing-specific KPIs in these programs and campaigns. We, of course, have sales-specific goals in those efforts, but then we have shared goals that sit in the middle of that. So how many net new clients do we bring into the firm? How much are those clients worth, right? How much did it cost us collectively across sales and marketing to bring that client into the firm? With existing clients, how do the efforts look as it relates to getting them from one product to two products, et cetera? So, I think a lot of times I see people enter this industry from a different industry, and they're used to calculating a pure marketing ROI where they run an ad, there's a very clear call to action, and the consumer goes and buys something. And that's just not the reality of how a lot of the financial services industry works. Certainly when I was working on property and casualty insurance, that was a lot easier. Or people, for example, marketing ETFs directly to the end investor, some of that is a little easier. But when you think about a really sophisticated private investment tool, that gets a lot trickier. And so, we are really looking at ROI in collectivity across the sales and marketing efforts that it takes to bring a client into the firm. Well, that's exactly right. It is ever changing, and just when you think you've mastered all the different financial vehicles that are out there, or seen different market environments or cycles, something changes. And so it's never boring. I know when I talk to young college students or even high school students, they're often eyes glazed over when they think about working in this industry. But then when I talk to them about the intellectual stimulation that being part of this industry has given me for over 20 years, then it piques people's interest. But it is very intellectually stimulating. We're not going to get bored anytime soon, if ever, being part of this. And there's something to be said for a marketer or a communicator when you build up this knowledge set. And you can also be an expert at marketing or communicating. There's a really powerful skill set that there's only so many of us out there, right? That get a lot of passion and energy from this. And so it's created a bit of a niche skill set that can have a really impactful career in the long run. So I found it very rewarding. Well, I think it's very new, but I'm very much intrigued by the idea of AI generated content. And, we're really just getting into it with some of the tools that exist, but, the understanding of what some of the tech companies are working on and what even search engines may look like in the future could be very different. We're used to doing paid search in a certain way. That may not look the same in the future. We're used to creating content through humans. That might not always be the case in the future. So I think there's still a lot more to learn and a lot more tires to be kicked on what AI means for marketers specifically. But I do think it's something we have to watch for sure. Yeah, one thing I would say right off the bat is I am very honest and straightforward. And I always have been. I actually don't know how to be any other way. Feedback is a gift. And I very much feel like there's a feedback loop that's critical between me and my leaders at all times. That's part of my leadership philosophy. But also, I'm the team's biggest cheerleader. I love to celebrate successes. I love to do events that are just sitting at a dinner, which we all do so much in this industry. But when I try to do my leadership team events, we're go-karting, we're pizza making, we're doing things that allow us to have fun and talk. And that's because I think sometimes we underestimate the criticality of personal relationships. And, that is some of the best advice that I've been given in my career. I remember doing 150 things really well, right? And wanting the praise and the kudos in my performance review about that. And the feedback I got was, you need to stop doing stuff and you need to start spending more time building relationships and taking people to drinks and doing lunches. And I thought, that's the feedback. But, miraculously at that time, I did that. I took that advice and I found that the personal relationships and the things that I found in common with people I might not have realized I really had much in common with, those were so critical for unlocking additional success and value in the work that I otherwise would have just kind of put my head down and done. And so I'm constantly trying to foster personal relationships between not just my team members, but all the other aspects of the business that we have to work with and we have to influence to get our business done. So that's some of my leadership philosophy. You have to carve out time just to think. And I was finding that no matter where I carved that out on my calendar, I couldn't actually get away from it being scheduled on top of. And so I've now made that my morning time, my 5:30, 6:30 a.m. morning time before anyone in my house is awake and before I'm ever at the office, because that's when my brain works the best and also when I would be the least disturbed. And so I take time every morning to meditate, to journal, to think, and get organized really for the day. And that is some of my most precious and important time. So yeah, I try to do that every single day. And sometimes, what I'm thinking about and what I'm processing isn't, a radically creative idea for Nuveen. Sometimes it's just kind of personally processing things. But I think that's one of the big things that kind of keeps me sane and keeps me feeling organized. And then prioritizing the time that I'm in the office, that allows me to prioritize between business partners and executive team meetings, my staff and my leaders, and then kind of the rest of the org and all the work that needs to get done. Yeah, it really goes back to that plan, right? That go-to-market plan that we agree with all of our business partners, that outlines the priority. Now, that being said, of course, priorities shift, right? At Nuveen, we make acquisitions of other companies, and then that sort of, can often put other things to the side to make room for integrating a new firm. So it doesn't mean that priorities don't shift. But laying that out on an annual basis and then reviewing it with our business partners on an ongoing basis to tweak it, and really always going back to that plan as, the Bible, and looking at that plan also to find how we're going to measure success. That is really the key. And often I have an investment team member come and say, like, well, why aren't you doing X, Y, and Z for me? And then I tell them, remember, this is what we agreed we're doing in 2023. And unfortunately, your product wasn't a focused product for these reasons. And so it allowed me also as a marketing leader to have the shield that I need of all the different voices and priorities that can come, because that plan was agreed by everybody. It's really easy to just put your head down and do the work, but you have to bring people along. And personal relationships are extremely helpful in doing that. Carving out the time to think about your leadership and your inspiration so that you can bring that to bring people along is another important thing that I hit on. But it's not just enough to do really great marketing work, unfortunately. The complications of a corporate entity operating in this environment requires leaders to just do so many other things, and part of that is influencing others and bringing people along. And I don't know why it took me, probably halfway through my career to realize, oh wait, so my great marketing just isn't enough. I really need to refocus my time and energy. But once I did, it was some of the best advice.